think for me, like I find a lot of peace and therapy when it comes to being in nature, and I do want to share that with people because when you are closer to nature, you treat it better. So when you can appreciate how beautiful and clean your water is because you go for swims in the river or you paddle in the river, then you're more mindful about what am I doing in my daily life that is making this river dirty. Even though soap seems like just like a small thing, it really is a vessel for me to share like all these messages that we're talking about. So we're looking for old man's beard. So it's always that hangy, stringy stuff. It looks like hair. Sometimes I think people call it like witch's hair, but it typically grows around like old spruce and fir trees. So I'm kind of hoping to find some of that because that's the season of us making that type of soap right now. It's funny, like when you're not looking for it, it's everywhere. And then when you're looking for it, it's not there. So these are rose hips. They're high in vitamin C, so sometimes when we're on the trail, we'll snack on them. But also like using them for my soap, giving it texture, but also there's a lot of healing properties with rose hips. So these are all the seeds that are inside. It's kind of dry this time of year, but we make jams and jellies out of them when we go forage for the rose hips. Sunlight dances on the balcony. So for myself, I always grew up in a household where I wasn't allowed to do anything. My stepmother had borderline bipolar, and I always had to live in silence, which in a way was great because I learned how to create a lot in a very quiet place. I learned how to make things and spend time by myself. So I find when I am by myself and I'm able to do these things, it brings me back to like a nice calm, I guess. Walked into my life and when I make soap, sometimes whatever's available is what I make. And I think that's important for people to learn and to understand that scarcity and you can't always get what you want. I think it's something that we've forgotten. So these are the soap molds, and it's where the soap will be poured into. A lot of soap makers will use like parchment paper to line these boxes. I figured out if I line it with a silicone mat, then all I have to do is just wash everything and nothing goes in the garbage. Okay, let's use the grow scale. Glove time. The temperature is probably still going to rise for a bit, but it's at 160 degrees Fahrenheit.
So that was in a matter of
like
10 seconds.
Not even, yeah. Well, I always do this by nose, but once I started hiring a human, I had to start measuring things. But I'm still going to do it by nose anyways. So we're going to pretend I measured it.
And which scents are we using?
So this is rosemary and lemongrass. So people are always intrigued by these because there's some kind of familiarity when they see it. And then when I tell them these are actually guitar strings. So these are guitar tuning pegs, and these are guitar strings that we use to cut the soap. This one's loose, you can hear it. So this is nice and tight. Oh. So if I can, I try to reuse old guitar strings. So if you know anybody who's got some E strings they want to give me, then I can reuse them. And this just goes in the laundry. That's what I'm doing with it. So this goes into here, and I have to make sure it's orientated correctly, which the first time I cut it the wrong way was the time that I said, I've never cut it the wrong way. And I was like, just so distracted. And then I'm gonna push it through to that side. Some of them cut easily. This one's cutting medium. Sometimes they cut terribly, like they're really hard to push through, and you're literally sweating just trying to cut this thing. And so this has little bits and pieces of another bar of soap in there. That's why it has all the little white bits in it. This is one of our top sellers. I think this is the winter green. All these guys are gonna go into here. Soap stacking, yay. So I always challenge people, if you go into your bathroom and you do buy commercial soaps, pick up the box and take a look at the label. Most commercial soaps have 20, 30 ingredients in it. My soaps will have around like 3 to 8, sometimes a little bit more, but for the most part, I don't add any funky colors. I only use tea, charcoal, beer, coffee to color my soaps, so they're all like varying shades of nature. I don't use any perfumes or fragrances where a lot of people get allergies from, so if you can't squeeze it out of a plant and make an oil out of it, I won't have it in my soap. Like I don't have chocolate soap, I don't have vanilla soap, it's all just natural scents. A lot of times I try to collaborate with another business. So I use local beer to make my beer soap. And then when doing that, people feel more value and more connected to where their product comes from. Like, oh, I love that beer. I love this person. This is a nice company. That person's a nice person. It's like just creating a more personal touch when it comes to my soaps. Or I pick mint from my neighbor Margot, and then I'll have people go, I know Margot. Like, oh, that's so cool that you're using Margot's mint to make, I named it Margot's mint. It wasn't very creative. And I think because of that, my business has been successful because anybody can make soap. I say that all the time, to the point that I teach people how to make soap because anybody can, but what makes it different is the passion you put behind it and how to make it meaningful for yourself. So there's a lot of, I think, like natural mindfulness when it comes to appreciating where our things come from. And I mean, we spent an hour and I picked literally just a handful of berries with my kids because there wasn't that many. And so when I'm placing it into each bar, I think like, I worked so hard for this. I hope the person buying this realizes that. And when they do, I think you really enjoy that experience a lot more and you're almost transported to that experience. Is what I get from a lot of my clients. They're like, I feel like I'm in the forest, or I feel like I'm in the ocean, or they're reminded about these adventures. And it gives me a chance to also teach my own children the importance of sustainability and mindfulness and to stop and to learn. And I think that translates too through my soap and my process.
Hey everyone. Thanks for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, it'd be great if you considered leaving a like or maybe even subscribing. We have lots of cool videos coming up and lots to check out if you haven't seen them already. My favorite part about doing this video was going on that little nature walk with Melba. She taught me a lot of stuff while we're on the walk. Now I can look out for certain things when I'm out and about, and it was really cool because that park is right in the middle of the city, yet it feels like we're way out in nature in a forest somewhere. So I really enjoyed that aspect, and also the smell of the soap. They smell very nice. So thank you for watching. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next one.